First things first, I'm going to be brief here. It's only going to take a second. I appreciate all you guys who reached out to me about the video quality in recent videos. I've been trying to fix the problem all week. I can't figure out what's going on. I don't know if my camera's starting to give out or something inside my laptop is messed up. Either way, I'm not going to bore you with too many details. Bought a new camera yesterday, not using it yet. Going to buy a new desktop computer later this afternoon and a new microphone. Hopefully, everything is going to be resolved by tomorrow. I can't stand this setup right here. I moved the mic closer to me to help with audio issues, but this pop filter is just an eyesore. But anyway, I appreciate you guys for sticking with me. Just know I am working to get everything resolved. All right, let's go ahead and get to the ESPYs. I think we have our newest nomination for the upcoming HEF Awards. Now, for those of you who are new to the channel, the HEF Awards, HEF, Huge Embarrassing Failure Awards. Later on this year, we're going to have our first ceremony, honoring people like Bomani Jones for their hard work and dedication in the field of failure. CNN's going to be one of the nominees. Can't remember if Jamel Hill's qualified just yet. I mean, look at this beautiful face. This is the face Smelly Jameli made when she saw the ratings for the ESPYs. She is concerned that she is now not going to be nominated. Somehow ESPN has defeated my boo again. I always find it fascinating how the mainstream media chooses to cover television ratings. In the past, I have always relied on Showbuzz Daily as my go-to source for ratings because I just don't trust the media. A couple of weeks ago, though, Showbuzz Daily just shuts down out of nowhere. Their explanation was vague. From what I have gathered and from what I've been told, they were no longer being given access to ratings. Now, this was the most comprehensive source on the internet for television ratings, and overnight they're just gone? I wonder why. Why would television networks want to hide their ratings? Anyway, I always find it fascinating how the media chooses to cover ratings. WNBA ratings are surging. America has finally found an appreciation for bearded women processing garbage. When the media claims WNBA ratings are surging, what they really mean is they're drawing 300,000 viewers. They're battling 5-year-old reruns of ridiculousness with Rob Doofus on MTV fighting to make the top 50 on cable. Mainstream media, they cover ratings in the NBA the exact same way. The NBA is back! 12 million people watch the NBA Finals! Yeah, well, 4 years ago, 15 million people were watching. During the rivalry between LeBron to Jamie and Stephanie Curry, the NBA was pulling 20 million. But yeah, 12 million, big success. If you were to Google ratings for the 2023 ESPY Awards, you would think this was a big win for ESPN. Headline over at Yahoo, ESPY score big primetime win for ABC. Same sentiment at The Wrap and every other mainstream media outlet that ran with this propaganda. Now obviously this could not be further from the truth. The 2023 ESPYs for ESPN was another in a long line of huge embarrassing failures. And the thing is, the worldwide leader in woke, they actually toned down the worship of Wiener at this year's show. LeBron James didn't have an emotional breakdown. As you guys know, LeBron, he gets very nervous anytime he leaves his mansion. He's afraid that he will become the victim of mistaken identity and a police officer will physically harm him because the cop thinks that LeBron stole a fresh pack of Oscar Mayer from Publix. ESPN didn't have Natasha Cloud explain to us why America is trash. Tosh. She is an expert in the business of trash. She has been honored several times by the WNBA for being the most efficient trash engineer in the dump. ESPN didn't give us Father Jalen Rose this year, preaching an impassioned sermon on the dangers of Mount Rushmore. Father Jalen, he couldn't make the ESPYs this year. My inside sources tell me he has pitched his tent outside of a local food bank waiting to cash in his food stamps. The worship of Wiener was kept at an all-time low for ESPN this year. Now, with that being the case, you would think normal people would make the ESPYs appointment television. They would flock to their TVs hoping to see their favorite athletes being honored. They would wait with anticipation to see if ESPN would name the dancing queen Jackie Mahomes the comeback dancer of the year in the NFL. According to the media, ESPN's attempt to shift the ESPYs towards more sports-related content was a huge success. Clearly, Me and the shitfucks in the mainstream media have very different definitions of success. Past couple of years, the media blamed the COVID for ESPN's record low ratings. 2021, ESPYs, 500,000 viewers. 2020, the ESPYs was 500,000 viewers. 2021, 1.2 million. This is all Fauci's fault. Fauci is forcing people to stay home where they have nothing else to do but watch TV. That's why ratings for the ESPYs have hit record lows. If people are confined to their homemade prison where they have nothing else to do but watch TV, can't go outside, God forbid that happens, they might catch the COVID from one of their blossoming ferns. If people had nothing else to do but watch TV, wouldn't that be a reason for ratings to go up? Last year, the media celebrated the so-called success of ESPN. 2022 ESPYs, 2.5 million people. Although this represented a 50% increase from the year before, 2.5 million was still an epic failure. From 2015 to 2019, the ESPYs averaged 5.3 million viewers. Now you could combine the ratings from 2020 to 2022, and you're not going to come close to that number. Sure, ESPN's dedication to the woke wiener had a lot to do with this decline, but one of the unintended consequences when sports leagues prematurely shut down in the spring of 2020, it broke people's reliance on sports for entertainment. For 5 or 6 months, normal people found other ways to entertain themselves. Hell, it was really a lot longer than that because the leagues like the NFL and the NBA, they didn't start allowing fans back into the arena for a full year. What happened in that year? People's habits were broken. Casual fans started watching Netflix instead of watching the NBA. Now, the NFL eventually recovered, but the NFL always seems to weather the storm. NFL is the only thing on TV that seems to be immune to declining ratings, but leagues like the NBA and Major League Baseball have never recovered. Major League Baseball just set record low ratings again for the All-Star game, but the point is, if fewer and fewer people are watching sports, then it stands to reason that fewer and fewer people will watch an award show that is supposedly centered around sports. You combine that with ESPN's reputation for filth, and you have a recipe for huge embarrassing failure, which is why only 2.3 million people tuned into ABC Wednesday night to watch the ESPYs. And it's only going to get worse going forward. Think about it. What was the biggest story coming out of the ESPYs? It wasn't Damar Hamlin. Hell, Damar Hamlin should have been the biggest story. Should have been one of those heartfelt, feel-good moments that we remember decades later. Damar Hamlin barely been mentioned. Biggest story coming out of the ESPYs was ESPN trying to manipulate its audience by portraying Will Cain as a misogynistic sexist. They tried to humiliate this man on national television, and the only people that were humiliated were working at ESPN. Ratings for the ESPYs were down 7% from the pathetic ratings last year. Least watched show in over a decade, and one of the least watched in the last 30 years as predicted here on this channel. But KC, I thought the media said this was a primetime win for ABC. Ratings couldn't have been that bad. ABC had to be the most watched network on Wednesday night. Yeah, that's what the media wants you to believe. But this could not be further from the truth. This is another case of the media giving you a partial truth. This is another case of the mainstream media polishing the ESPN turd to make it look edible. They really want you to bite into this shit sandwich, but the problem is, I ain't hungry. ABC did rank number 1 in the 18 to 49 demo. That is the partial truth. But the media is leaving out one minor detail. Amongst the big 3 broadcast networks, ABC, CBS, NBC, ABC ranked dead last on Wednesday night. Wait a minute. This is July, right? Broadcast networks generally air reruns during the summer months. It cannot be possible that reruns on CBS and NBC dominated a live broadcast of the ESPYs, right? There's just no way that's possible. CBS aired reruns of The Price is Right, drawing 3.8 and 3.6 million viewers. Something called LA Fire and Rescue was on NBC, 2.6 million. A rerun of Chicago Fire matched the live broadcast of the ESPYs. ESPN was dominated by a game show, a rerun of a game show made famous by a man named Bob. Price is Right actually has something in common with the crown jewel of ESPN, the WNBA. Both were made famous by people named Bob Barker, Bob Greiner. And ESPN, beaten by two shows on NBC that focus on fire, which is ironic when you think about it since ESPN is literally burning to the ground. I told you guys 2, maybe 3 years ago that ESPN would cease to exist in its current format by 2030, and my stance has not changed. ESPN made headlines when they hired Pat McAfee, but to me, that was a desperation hire. This is ESPN's final chance at remaining relevant. They tried something similar by making the UFC exclusive to ESPN, didn't work. I like the UFC, casual fan of the UFC, got a lot of respect for Dana White. I lost some of that respect though after what happened between him and his wife earlier this year, but I still respect Dana White for being one of the few leaders who refused to run away from the Fauci. But the UFC is a niche sport. They are never going to have a big enough audience to carry an entire network. Stephen A. Smith is the face of ESPN, but he's not drawing the same audience that he did in the past. PTI is still a popular show, but outside of that, who does ESPN have? Mina Kimes, I guess, is a star on social media anyway. She doesn't draw ratings on television. I think Stephen A. Smith's on his way out at ESPN. He's jumping off the ship before it's resting next to CNN at the bottom of the woke sea. The only star at ESPN is Pat McAfee, and they are going to ruin him. They are going to ruin his mainstream appeal. I'm telling you. ESPN's in serious trouble, but let me get out of here. Again, I apologize for the video quality this week. I hope to have this resolved by tomorrow. I can't thank you guys enough for sticking with me through this process. You guys are absolutely amazing. I'm going to go ahead and leave right now to go buy this new computer, hoping to be able to record in HD going forward. My laptop's only got one USB port, so this entire time I've been using a USB hub to record. I think that's been the problem the entire time with recording in HD, so hopefully, I'll be able to set up this new desktop computer this afternoon and you'll be seeing me clearly by tomorrow. I hate this part. This aspect is the worst part of this, at least for me. I'm a novice when it comes to technical stuff with computers. I'm sure it's going to be a frustrating struggle today getting all this new equipment set up, but got to be done. Got to get the new microphone set up, new camera, everything. So wish me luck, wish me luck. But in the meantime, let me know what you think about the ESPYs being a huge embarrassing failure. Hopefully by tomorrow, I'll be seeing you guys in clear HD. See you then.